welcome to the video. I did a little walkthrough of Hobby Lobby last night, which if you watched my recent haul video, I showed some of the stuff that I picked up. So first of all, I went into the home decor section. They had a big sign in the front that said there was a bunch of stuff that was 90% off. So they had some of these wall decals, some of those large metal letters, and some I believe were wooden, and then they had a bunch of like drawer and doorknobs and fixtures that were on clearance. And this was in their spring shop section, so a lot of really cute shabby chic home decor stuff, and this was super cute. Little cake stand. I love those little dome things, and definitely had, you know, kind of that farmhouse look. And this is more of the spring shop line, so as you could see from the sign, they were all 40% off. And so they had a large selection of these sort of macrame hangings and some giant dream catchers, which I thought were really interesting. And then still in the spring shop section were these wind chimes, and especially the teacups. They had a lot of burlap. I know it's a lot of fun to use. Here in the punch section, they had a bunch of stuff on clearance. I thought this was a good deal here because you could use this. There's like a button punch, a single hole punch, and then one that looks like two straight lines. And then some random larger punches that were on clearance. And then I believe the whole section was, I want to say 40% off. So I had seen this in another video. Someone had shared that a lot of the EK tool punches were also on clearance. So I wanted to show some of those. I'm sorry for the fast and jerky camera movements. This was a really long video, so I tried to fit it all in and I had to speed it up a little bit. So they had this designer poster board. Here I'm just showing you one of the floral patterns, really pretty. Then they had a bunch of clearance in the stamp section. Color box, a couple of the memento colors were also on clearance. So you can see any of those yellow tickets are the ones that are on clearance. So a lot of different colors, different brands. 75 cents for the lavender one. Now I'm just showing some of the archival inks that were 75 cents and $1.50. So some really nice colors. And in the dye section, I thought I would show you these. This is some Disney dyes. I'm not sure who the brand is, but I thought those were super cute. And then on Sizzix and Spellbinders, it was 30% off, and they had here and there a little bit of random clearance. So I was kind of comparing a lot at Hobby Lobby to what I had seen at Michael's recently. So a lot of the same products. So I wanted to kind of do some price comparisons too. They have a lot of the Faber-Castell sets for lettering and pip pens. And then all the Sakura and Spectrum Noirs. Here in the Ranger section, I'm just keeping an eye out for new stuff from Ranger. And Artsy had the stencil and stamp collections, and then some of the Dina Wiggly stamps. Also some really pretty stencils. Crafters Workshop stencils on top there. Tea stain dye, that was a new one to see, for me at least. And then look at how closely these artsy water markers look to the Brea Reese ones. I think those would be a good dupe for mermaid markers. And I wanted to check out what the Dina Wigley Mixed Media Journal looked like, and I think she just put out a second one that is larger. This was the smaller size, so it has some craft paper, there's burlap, and there's, let's see, just has a variety of surfaces, so that looked like an interesting buy. And then they had a lot of well, it'll show it in a second, the Heidi Swap clearance, but all Tim Holtz was 30% off. So they had a lot of the distress oxides, some of the dilutions, paints. And then here and there, a little bit of Tim Holtz clearance. There is a Heidi Swap set that was on clearance, and yep, more Heidi Swap. So some more pens, some of the Tombos. And I wanted to give a close-up of the washies. They had some really pretty sets. Some were on clearance. Some of their spare parts line was on clearance as well. Really cute clips and some vintage buttons, really pretty papers, and it reminded me of when like Prima was really the one brand known for their paper flowers. So it's exciting to see that a lot of different companies are doing those now. I looked at a little bit at the paper pads. I'm not really all that familiar with Hobby Lobby's paper except for a couple of pads that I have bought, so I'm not sure which ones are new and which ones are not, but I thought I would take a look at these paper crafting packs that they had in the paper section, and you can get some dimensional stickers along with some 12x12 sheets in different themes. Then they had these Carpe Diem planners, and those were marked down. Some of them were like that blue-green flower one was marked down from $40 to $7.50. So definitely good if you're into the planning. They had a lot of that stuff marked down. More markers, and I thought these Marby Ukita color ends are really cute. They're very slim. I hadn't seen those before. And they had these unfinished craftwood pieces. So each of the little ones were $1. So I believe that would make them 60 or 70 cents. I can't remember what the percent off was on those, but those would be really fun to create with. And then here's the actual clearance section. So they had a lot more planner stuff. And just some random paint type stuff, and that's where I found some wrapping paper. They had a matte kind of copper color wrapping paper, some more wall art decals. And then here more into the clearance section, lots of ribbon and tape, some home decor. And I always like to really dig through the clearance section because a lot of times you can find even fine art stuff and it's just kind of tucked away, and it can also be a great way to try out a brand maybe that you're not familiar with and get it at a lower price and kind of see if it's something that you like. So they had a little bit of the Brea Reese stuff left. They had the sponge rollers, this pretty background stamp. So here's some of the Brea Reese, just odds and ends It was really cleared out. And then they had Prismacolors marked down to 82 cents, I believe. And those were the colored pencils. They had some marker sets. And then I went through, I was kind of digging through more of the markers and looking to see they had some Faber-Castell Pitt pens, but they weren't priced. So they had some of the big brush stamping pens. So the Pitt pens were in the clearance section, but no stickers. And then I was looking in this section where they have hoodies and t-shirts that you can tie-dye or paint on, because they have all the fabric paint markers and fabric paints. I think this is the same brand that Michaels has for their plain shirts and bags and stuff. It's Gildan. And then they had a bunch of books marked down, a bunch of stencils marked down. Really good deals on the stencils. They were 75 cents. Oh my gosh, this camera is killing me. I'm sorry. Just as I'm watching it, I hope it's not giving you motion sickness. Okay, so some of these, it says show-offs. I'm not sure if that's the brand name, but I did pick up a couple of these stencils actually. So they had a peacock feather, and just random stencils. Some of these are a pretty good deal because you get several stencils in one. And then they had some of their pickling wash from Folk Art. The indoor-outdoor paints were marked down. More paint markers. And they had a whole section of Mod Podge. I was just kind of getting a closer look at the pickling wash. I guess it's a type of glaze, so it's a translucent paint. And looked at the Ceramcoat section. And then I did pick up a couple of the Amita's all-purpose craft paints. Some of the foam stamps were marked way down, 32 cents on the fox, and the flower was 32 cents. I thought those were really cute. There's a cow. They had some foam paint rollers. And yes, Krylon was 30% off. Looked like they had a wide selection as far as the spray paint went. And they also have some of the lap desks, and similar to what they have at Michaels. I wanted to show you this huge thing of washi tape for $12.99. I thought that was a good deal because they have a lot of different styles in there. And then in the jewelry section, they had a whole bunch of clearance. So half off their jewelry kits and bead boxes, plus the stuff that was marked way down. And then they had this one called Gilded Age Timeline, or Gilded Timeline, something like that. And I hadn't seen that line before, but it looked really pretty. It looks sort of like Art Deco-ish. So they had some really pretty stuff that kind of looks like flapper era, kind of classic looking too. And then the fairy tale section was half off. They still have their cute little book pendants that I love those little guys. good view of the ceiling there. And Poetic Spirit, there were some random things that were clearance, so the kind of the Southwestern style. They had some loom sets that were on clearance. And then some of their jewelry tools. Blank slate, so a lot of this is marked down. That is sand that you can use to fill in bezels. Some really cute glitter. And some really nice some bezels and just different things that you could use to make jewelry out of. And in vintage they had just a few pieces that were marked down to $2. Really pretty. They have that aged patina look. And I wanted to give you a look at the cameos. Some of the crosses were just gorgeous. And then this heart had these tiny little beads in it. I thought that was so pretty. So it's definitely an adventure in checking out all the different stuff, and there's just clearance throughout the store. Here were some of the kind of faux stone stuff. A lot of that was on clearance. Really pretty. Had that cute little octopus. I think that was $1.50. Some sea charms, little mermaid tails, and they had these light boxes in different brands. I'm going to show you some of the easels. I've had good luck with a table easel from Michaels. I haven't tried one from Hobby Lobby, but they're pretty handy. And then they had some really nice coloring books with some familiar names. There was Norman Rockwell, so you could color in some of his paintings, Jazz Age fashions, 1950s, country scenes, and then down here they had some Vera Bradley, really nice quality coloring books, beautiful designs. Here they had some literature themed ones, so there was Romeo and Juliet, Pride and Prejudice, and then this one is Fairy Tale. The author is Japanese. I cannot recall her name right now, but some really ornate designs and just some beautiful things to color in. And then this is the art pad section, which was 40% off. So I was just checking out some of the different brands. And they do have a few things that Michaels doesn't carry. For instance, this La Croelle by Canson. I haven't seen that at Michaels. Judging by the description, it sounds quite a bit like the Arches paper. So cotton, watercolor, like really high quality watercolor paper. They had some watercolor books down there. Fabriano is another one I haven't seen at Michaels. I've heard good things about that brand and used it too, actually. They have the Strathmore Visual Journal, which I really wish they would bring back to Michaels. That's a really good one. And Strathmore Bristol, hadn't seen that one. The Master's Touch, all of their single brushes, aside from the clearance, were half off, but they did have quite a few clearance brushes too. Daler Rowney. I did look for the Daler Rowney acrylic inks, the FW. This was my second trip back trying to look for those, and I was not able to find any more of the Daler Rowney acrylic inks. They were completely wiped out, and this was even a different Hobby Lobby than I had tried back the first time to see if I could get more of those inks. So it was kind of a bummer because that was part of the reason I went, but I ended up finding some other stuff that was cool. Yeah, you can see the FW was just all cleared out. They were marked way down, and I know a lot of you got in on that deal. So here were some of the watercolor sets, koi watercolors, some drawing sets mixed in there. Just wanted to kind of see what they had as far as different brands. And they had these paint sets with the paint backing, the easels, the pads, which could get you started. I believe those were $39.99, and then of course you could use the 40% off coupon. So here's some of the Prismacolor. It was a Pit Pen set, manga set I hadn't seen before. And they had all the different shades with the 6 Pit Pen sets, some of the microns. And they had several different sets of the Zig brushables. They had the chameleons. And I was checking out, I know a lot of people are kind of broadening their circles as far as alcohol markers, that not everybody is buying Copic so much anymore because there are a ton of different options. So the twin tips that they had there did not have a brush marker, they had the chisel tip and a bullet nib. They also had these Pabio markers, some Sharpies, and then this is, I believe, their in-house brand of alcohol markers, which I thought were a good deal. I think they were something like maybe $10 a set. And then they had some Copic kind of spare nibs and things like that you can buy. The Winsor & Newtons, they had the brush markers and the pro markers, which I believe are both alcohol. It's just the brush marker has the brush nib. Then they had a lot of the General's brand erasers, pencil sets, Faber-Castell, a whole bunch of stuff that is open stock, colored pencils, markers, Pit Pens, Prismacolor open stock. Here's the Dina Wakley Media Scribble Sticks. I ended up picking those up. Last one. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope it didn't make you seasick. I will see you next time.